Hey there, Scorpio. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell out beside it, and they'll be sure to notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy of the World, be sure to give us a big thumbs up, like, and share. Now, Scorpio, when I began to get cards, all freshen up the decks out here, ready to read for you guys, there's somebody who's kind of like grumbling and growly and like bittery and just kind of some stank, a little bit of like sharpness going on. And I was like, well, it doesn't seem to be leading anywhere in the mind or connecting to anything, but it's like a disgruntledness, a little bit of like being so done is kind of what you're saying. Now, I know we're going to work with the Angelarium so we can get some really good vibe and deep, dark energy on it for you, Scorpio, to get all the eyes lined up. You know how I talk about our intelligence here, our intuition, our instinct, and our intimacy, which you are definitely the harbinger of, which is why I use the Sexual Magic Tarot deck up here. And I've heard other readers talk about, well, you can't show that sort of thing. So, not that the images are important to you, so I'm just going to give you a little eye-opener about what you're letting me know is going on. And first card that you're showing here is the tower coming in, and the imagery in this tower is you are really ready. You're going to do this tower. And this tower isn't about your life falling down or falling apart. It has been falling apart. This is like a perpetual tower, something that keeps going on that burns you up. And it has had its day, and you're ready to have your way. Because this thing has been having its way with your life, and you're saying with your wife, meaning that deep part of your heart, that intimate part of your soul, and it keeps playing out to a loss. And you're like, I'm taking that tower out because it is an energy that is sitting around, and it is continuing. The power of destruction is sitting around, the devastator, and you're ready to move that out of the way, and you will not have it any longer. And like you are at peak point. It's kind of like, I would say, a rage, but rages often come out of nowhere and don't make sense. Like, you're not going to obliterate the world around you. You're going straight for your target is what you're letting me know in this energy going on here. And in between it, okay, so on the other bookend of that energy, you have the Six of Wands coming in. So it's that victory, being able to really have and enjoy and touch, taste, feel, smell, and imbibe, and everything that you know is rightly yours in your heart is no longer being farmed out to others. It is here for you to enjoy your life, your there aren't words for it. It's just going, it's like this. So hopefully that communicates with you what you're talking about here. And it is the card of victory, right? It has a rabbit and a dove down there. So it's talking about the peaceable sweetness coming in, about the coexistence of really getting along with the energy around you, with those eyes lined up. You're with another person that their eyes are lined up. You're in a world where the eyes are lined up, and it's no longer that nasty kinetic tower energy coming in, fiddling in your business. You're like, So I don't know if that was a relative being a disruptor. I don't know what it was. But the thing is now the people in the surroundings that you're inviting in is gentle, and it gets along. But there's also some playfulness going on back here, a little like Buddhist action. And it's the hard work has been put out to the field. You're like, I've been through this tower energy. That was enough for me. I'm through being racked that way. And by racking, kind of like when you rack the pool, it's just like the goats. You're being harnessed up and put to work. You're like, it's time for some pleasure. It's time for some fun, some connection, for that sweet goodness of life, of like, like I see the rabbit dabbling in a field of clovers, which is so full of their delights. They're just going, munching along, going, ooh, for me, ooh, for me, oh, for me. That's really what I see you bringing about here. And right sandwiched in the middle of those two cards, those two energies, and I hope I'm doing it a good service by describing these to you guys, is the Lover's card. And it's about having your whole heart being filled day and night, having the spice that you like, but also the refinery, having that beauty, that thing that you hear the of the angels, someone that calling to you, that it just puts stars in your eyes, but also that little bit of devilishness, that thing that makes you, ooh, spicy. You know what kind of stirs your fires, right? Because to me, Scorpio is both fire and water energy. It's like the blood pumping through our arteries and veins, right? You have the oxygenated blood moving through the arteries, feeding life and energy to the body. And then you have the pass out, reflect, and refresh energy, drawing the veins back up to the heart to reoxygenate it and keep life circulating, flowing, and going. And it's full of a garden of delights. And Cupid is dabbling in your business here and keeping you well fed. Okay, so I hope I did that justice there, Scorpio. Let's get our Angelarium out for our Scorpio friends here. So those of you start out with kind of like that needling in your spirit, I hope this energy has moved through and set you free. Fantastic. There it is. Do we have two more? There's one. There they are. Okay. Who's who? Where's where? Okay. They're there. So these I can show you, right? So we'll start with that Tower energy since that's where we began. So the angel that's coming in with this is Zadkiel. Now I love Zadkiel. I work with Zadkiel, and he's been with me as long as I can remember, and it's very much the aquamarine energy, like crystalline purity, but it's like, I don't know whose kidneys are bothering them, but you know, just unleash that. That must be where that tower, that blockage is at, is you being able to have your own power for yourself, that you worked hard for this life and you're ready to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So, okay, yeah, Zadkiel, okay, it's gone now. So Zadkiel's opened this up, and that channel of knowing that life has got your back. Life is very aware of whose account this lusciousness, this goodness and deliciousness is going to. And they will fight for your rights to have it. They are joining you in this dissipating of that disruptive energy, getting it out of your life. That interrupter, I don't know who they were. There is a who. Okay, for them to keep saying that, because often energies can move in and out of multiple people. Like, you'll keep having the same lesson through different people, right, that keep showing up. But this is a who, okay? And it's going to move it out. And that's the neat thing, is your hands will be clean. Your mind should be clear. That they're kind of saying, we got you back. We got you now. Now that you understand, we are here for you, and we are on the same page, that you are the apple of our eye, that like we dote and we dream over you, and we're ready to fulfill you and bring forth the fruit of your labor so that you can enjoy life. Because when you really engage in pleasure, like, sparks go off. Like, you're that arc that electricity makes, that arc of energy. And they're like, and they're unsheathing their sword. And they're serious about it. It's like Sawtooth. It says it can get through anything. They have the scales of justice. They have the power of purity. So it's not just justice, but like, kind of like that Mayotte energy of weighing the heart of this person who's been involved here, meddling, this meddling energy. There's also created a lot of other chaos as well. But they're causing it to dissipate. This like vaporizing is what Zadkiel is here doing. So Zadkiel, when he comes to me, was always this giant tower of aquamarine, this massive energy, so huge, like bigger than any skyscraper we can see, all in and of his own. But Zadkiel, any of them ending in L, is a union of energies coming together in this one mighty being. So they're able to, that's kind of like how Santa Claus can be in many places in one night. It's that dispersive energy that can be anywhere, like Sandalphon, but also come together in unity, like in a voting power, right? To create a majority. So it's in your favor. That's what you need to know here with that tower, all right? So don't expend yourself. Just know that you have been heard and they are on the same page with you, okay? Because Zadkiel is a unit. It is a union. It is like a whole horde of soldiers here working on your behalf. So, yeah, okay, so we'll go in the same order. We're not going to delve into the levers just yet because, I mean, if you saw all these, you would see that it's all about love. So the Six of Wands of Victory, we have Sheligill, the Angel of Snow. Y'all, it can be raw with me because I am so raw when it comes to my life. But on this channel, we speak to many people, and I want everybody to feel welcome here and to be able to adjust to how this all comes in, but sometimes when you say it, you just got to spray it. So it's very electric, it's very kinetic, but they're just like saying, fuck off. That's what they're saying. This is mine. This is my victory. I've worked hard for this. You know, if you're left out in the cold, you're left in the snow, that's up to you. It's really unifying and launching off of this energy. Can you see how that sweeps across? That determination, that devotion being on there on your behalf. But this is almost like your energy coming in, like the synergy of self, of it, like mind, body, soul, of all the eyes getting on the same page and going, hey, wait, no. And that's kind of how you brought this in. There was that, remember that energy, and it's like, back off, mine. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. That can bring in the victory because you know it's yours and it's not going to be swept out, the rug pulled right out from under you. And you're exerting yourself here, not like hard work type exertion, but like really fleshing out your form of knowing who you are and feeling free to speak it out and speak about it, to speak up about it, and to tell people when they've crossed the line, to maintain your boundaries, that you're not going to live in ruins and ruination anymore. You're not going to be left out in the cold and continue in that pattern. It's not going to continue to be your fault, is what I'm hearing. And it's not about relegating blame. It's that if you choose to be the responsible party, that you also want the rewards, aka the fruit of your labor. So if the word rewards triggers you, if you're so spiritually minded that you're of no earthly good, that's what can happen. But we're here, we work and we do things, we put things out knowing that life can return to us, and we're open to it returning in forms of life, forms of love, forms of refilling and reciprocation, whatever that looks like. Because that's how we were created to operate and to work. But it kept coming up, being cut off, right? That's how our energy, it was being separated from yourself, and you're like, no more. And so that's you finally standing up for yourself and saying, that's right. That is right. No more. This is mine. So that goes in my account. This goes in my place. You know, and I want to eat the bread that I baked. If you wonder about that, it was the little red hen. It was in the Virgo reading that I just did. Being able to engage in the fruits of your labor, because that is inspiration. That puts breath in your lungs. That causes the blood to pump through your veins and life to keep moving forward. And you keep a hunger and a satisfaction at the same time. That's a nice juxtaposed energy, Scorpio. So we're going to peek at the lovers now, about your heart being full and what Cupid is doing there. Cupid is going, yeah, ooh. Bringing in the little, like, it's like a snow globe, but they're not all snow globes. They're wisher globes now with, like, the glitter and the fanfare going on in it. It's Netza. It's talking about endurance. So they're telling you to keep going until you inherit the earth, until you see and you touch, taste, feel, smell, and imbibe in what it is you have been working so hard for. And this has been a spiritual journey. That's why it's been so hard, is to keep going when there wasn't that feedback, when there wasn't that reinforcement of seeing what you've worked for. That's the way of saying good job, keep going in it. But when you're not seeing it, like in one of the readings I talked about, you bake banana muffins and what comes out is dog turds. It's like, there's a disconnect there. And you were done with that disconnect, which is why you started saying mine, staking the claim to your spiritual investment that it's going to harvest and come into your account. We're not needing to talk about others and their energy right now, because you do that. We've all done that. Spiritual work is focused so heavily on that the scales have gotten so far out of balance that we don't even know what is truth anymore. But that's why they've sent me here. They want to use my voice to speak about that truth, about saying, mine, my turn, about you being the center of your universe. You are the sun that life, spirit, your guides want to work with you in your beauty, in your energy, and bringing forth this truth so that you can taste and see that life is good, that the tree of life flourishes and abounds in your gardens, so that others begin to peer over their fence and they're like, what is that? You're like, let me tell you about it. Come on into my garden. I'm going to tell you about the tree of life and how you really come about it. It's about being in your power. It's about speaking your truth. It's about knowing who you are and being able to carry and bear that burden until it comes to fruition, because it's not that never-ending tower of, oh, believe it, destruction. It's literally about you can make it. You are made for this. Get across those waters, get to the other side, and begin to establish your world, for it is real and it is valid and it is beautiful and divine, full of life-giving air, breath to your lungs that causes you to soar and to develop. So let's see, what else do I want to see here? Another darkie? No. Let's go. We're going to go into the credit cards. Hey, since we're talking about return, I don't know why they call them credit cards, y'all. They're my homemade cards that I have. Chop, chop. Let's get to it. But they always call it the credit cards. So it's like building to your account, encouragement, bringing things along where the creative and the logical mind, because black and white is the logical mind, but the imagery is creative, and merging and synergizing them together so that you stand in your own power. They call me here to empower you in your you-ness, your amness, and being your best. There we go. So they're wanting to hop off of Netza, this world that you're bringing in to plant and to root as you get to the other side. When you get past this sorrow that you've been trudging through, it's the water's getting more shallow, so I can see you're almost ashore, even though you're like, there's barely anything left of me. But this energy is all stepped in as you begin to tell things to, hey, back off, it's mine. Like you're telling this mother-in-law or whoever this person is, you don't tell me how to run my house. And you don't get into an argument or whatever about it, but you're very firm about what is yours and what are your rights. And strangely enough, your person's like, girl, and it brings in this, like, cute and clever. Your hard work, the work of the bee has rewards. And that's the thing about bees, is a lot of times apiaries who keep them, they have to know to leave enough honey. Instead of just giving them sugar water, which can make you have sick bees, leaving in some of the honey, the portion for them to feed off of, to breed the next generation. So this sweet life is about feeding the life in you, that you keep moving forward in this sweet nature, in this sweet attitude. And if you haven't seen it, go back and watch the Scorpio that talks about the sweet spot. Y'all, they're having me talk to you in this way because that's their message and their vein of connection to you and this joy to the world. Because, I mean, what is joy but happiness? It's strength, it's power, it's might, it's inheritance. And they want you to be able to enjoy how cute and clever you are. You know, because the cleverness is that organization of the cells, the creativity of how it all works together, and it gets so much done in so little time and so little space, but leaving room for yourself to really imbibe and enjoy and steep in that honey milk bath, to keep yourself beautiful, keep yourself fun and refined, baby. So they're gonna have us go in the reverse. So now we're gonna look to the Six of Wands under Shelley here, right? Which is a union of self. They're bringing in dispel fears. So they're saying, yeah, call it like you see it. And this seeing is an intelligence. It's not, because they've had us work that through where it's not you having all of your eyes right up here so that it blows out and then you're put at a disadvantage. They had you disperse it through your body. So if you go back and you watch the Scorpios in the order of which they were posted, right? You'll begin to see that development of how they've aligned you and they've empowered you spiritually, divinely, in unison with yourself to really spread out your strength, like put the frosting across the whole cake, right? To balance it out. That brings in your intelligence here and it allows you to see with the sheer perfection, to see your truth and not something that's been projected or is hobbling or crippled where it was before, where you had really just tried to keep an eye on everything to protect yourself. That has been cleared and moved away. Those fears have been dispelled so that the magic and beauty of who you are, of all that delightful energy of having it spread out, like not putting all of your eggs in one basket, right? Having that energy spread out so you can begin to attune and feel with your whole body, with your intelligence, with your intuition, with your instinct and your intimacy, right? To bring in the great I, the thing that broadcasts your truth. And it's not just saying it like you were saying here, flipping the birds, right? It has to do with the dynamism of the way you even move about in your life. Very confidently, very boldly, but at the same time tempered and gentle. It has a nice flow to it, a connection with oneself. And see all that fruit on those trees, like in your garden? Because you said, back off, mine. This is mine. That unless you invite people in, they don't have the right to be pilfering and pillaging over your fence into what is rightly yours. Okay? Because you're telling me, you said, I'm happy to share and let people know, but people are not going to dominate me and control me. And they're not going to continue to put me in the tower and make me pay for their victory. I want my own victory too. I'm happy to share and tell them how to do it. Because you are smart, you are a boss, right? And you know how to break it down and see straight through. But for a moment, you need to take some space for yourself, right? To begin to enjoy the sweets and the fruits of your labor after doing away with the total tower, right? You're like, I've had enough tower hour. I am so done with that. And so down beneath the tower, it comes in fat with dew. But it came in sideways. And it's like laying that down. It's like this time when that tower falls, you're going to leave it where it is. You're like, I'm not picking that back up again. That's not my mess. And that's important for you to know. Like in this case, the home wrecker, I mean, that's the only way I know to say it, is the thing that kept making the mess. It could be in your business. It could be in your family connections, or even neighbors, whatever. The instigator, the home wrecker, the troublemaker, that stick the nose in your business person, whatever that is, you're just letting it flat. When they try and do it and launch it, it just falls flat. They do it and it falls flat, because you're like, I am not giving up my good, delicious, golden, fat, dewy, honey, yumness, all this amazingness that makes me so powerful, so charismatic and beautiful. I'm not going to give that up and let it continue to be destroyed. So your taunts, your jeers, your whatever, whoever this energy, you're just going to let them sit there. Because remember, Zagkiel and the whole crew, they're taking care of it for you. They're like, we fierce about this. We ready to handle some business with a Z, right? Some business. And they said, just let it fall down. Let it lay where it falls. Just leave it there. Let it go. Because they'll be like, when it doesn't have the effect, because that's how they feast and feed off of you, is when that energy comes out of you to either fix it, to repair it, or they see steam coming out of your ears, or they know it landed its mark on you. That's what the energy, that cloud of steam is what they feed off of. And that food gives them energy to do it again, again, again. So that's Zagkiel's wisdom coming in here, along with Shelly and Netza. They're saying, oh, you're too awesome for that. You got your own fruit, your own garden. They can't even get through there. Look, they can't break past this. Look at this. Mine's is what you said. That's all mine, and I'll be fine. And so you're good. You don't need to speak it anymore, and you let that thing fall flat to the ground. And they will eventually scramble, pout their lip, and wonder how it's not working. Because I remember this after school special show when I was growing up. It was kind of like a mundane little thing, because the type of format it was made in. But there's this woman who's kind of a witch, and she's a conniver. She just looks like any everyday person. And she begins to divide the town against each other. It was this nice little kind of Mayberry, happy, everybody gets along, and, life's normal, but we also move on, and we genuinely at the heart love and support each other type of thing. And she came in to instigate, because she lived off of that vapor, that steam, that negative energy. Because as you know, anyone who does that has their own issues inside. And since they're not willing to look ugly or look bad, they provoke others to make others come out of their character. And then they get the satisfaction of like, see? And gloat, which is like a double whammy on whoever they impact. So that was kind of the ripple effect that she had through this town, and everyone was divided, and it's almost like a gray cloud settled over the town type of thing. And eventually she had them all gathered out in the street, and had the main man and the main woman. They weren't married, but they were in this town of like kind of prom king and queen type of, the people that always fixed everything and brought everything together and was kind of like the glue of the town. And they had them at odds with each other, and she had just that witchy type person continued to work them against each other. That meddler, that's what we're going to call her, because she was a meddler. you know, that's why working the magic right. She was meddling, causing them to work against each other. And all of a sudden, the man looked at her as she was just like, he is seething up in his face with this, you know, toothy grin. And she just looked like any other person. She was gloating and all satisfied as it was burning him and hurting him. And he just stuck his hands in his pockets and he turned his back on her. And there was like a whole gathering of people from the town just out there because that's the kind of energy that she drew. Pardon me, y'all. Let me shut off this notice. Okay. That was the kind of energy that she drew, and that's the chaos that she thrived and bred off of, okay? And that's why she needed to keep it going, or else her source would run out. I know it's a little long, but thank you for hanging in there. So anyways, he turned his back on her. So without a word, like this Zag-heel energy, like this leaving it down flat, like you ain't going to spend your fine self, your honey, your dew, your fat, your oil, all that good stuff, all your riches on something so shallow and trite as that. You're like, I'm not falling for this anymore. Then all of a sudden, the woman that he had been pitting against she had been pitting against that man, she turned around. And then the youths, the children, all the other adults, everyone began to go, and they began to turn their back on her meddling energy. They cut off her source, right? And before you know it, the whole town turned their back on her. And that was the way they sort of melted her. It just like, is what she did. It seized all the lung, all the chest. Hello, you got me confounded here, Scorpio. All the air out of her lungs. And she had nothing to thrive on anymore. And she just walked away down the street and had to leave. That's how they cast her out. That's how she was done for and done in. And that is the wisdom of Zag-heel here for you. Just let it fall to the ground. Turn your back on it. It's not ignoring it. It's not pretending it's not there. It's simply not receiving it and not feeding it. And when you realize that you're precious and you're priceless and you are worth that, you are worth this, to know what is yours and what rightfully belongs to you and to not have to give that stuff up for temper tantrum type people, meddling energies. That's a whole new day for you, Scorpio. Talk about being established. I love that. I love how you brought this in and you've taught us so much about our personal power and staking a claim in the rights to ourselves to shut out that perpetual tower. I hadn't even heard about that. But it is a real thing, is what you're letting me know here, and has happened to many of us. Many of us continuing to ask us to do the spiritual maturity and growth, which is very expensive, and it keeps us strung thin because it wasn't ours to continue to do. At some point, we cut those energies off, and we move forward in our own and leave them out in the cold in their world. They can continue to destroy their life, but they don't have rights to yours. That's your power, is your permission. Aren't you clever? I love it, Scorpio. That's fantastic. I look forward to listening back to this on the other side where you guys are gaining the wisdom that you shared here. I'm enamored. I love it. It's fantastic. So, hey, more power to you. I love the angel Arium that are working with you. Well, what's there left to say? Except, talk to you soon.